creative, guerrilla.co/podcast, how to launch a startup very fast. Okay, so we all know that there are a million different ways to accelerate the rate at which your startup becomes a successful revenue generating company, right? Including using the millions of dollars that your billionaire dead uncle left you. But in this episode, we're only going to deal with how to launch and grow your startup with the immediate resources you have within your reach right now. Okay, so what I like to do whenever I try and figure out how to do something is first start with how everyone else has already done it. Then you can add your own spices and flair to it and adapt it to yourself. So how did the most successful startups in the world become successful? Well, quite honestly, the guys that started it actually started blogging. They started blogging. They started blogger.com. So from that success, they were able to take all their contacts, all their relationships, move it into Google when Google acquired Blogger. Now they've got even more contacts and relationships. They know more people. They've got more established credibility and a track record. So now they can start Twitter, and everybody backed them, gave them money, and gave them enough time to succeed. Same with WhatsApp, same with almost every single startup you can mention out there. They are built off of a chain reaction of previous startups. They use the momentum of previous startups. It's very rare to find a startup that succeeded from out of nothing. Okay, so now let's take those mechanics and drill it down to you. Let's say you're an accountant or an architect or any other specialty that starts with an A, right? How do you immediately go from having no contacts, no relationships, nothing, to becoming a massively successful startup business? It doesn't even have to be in the tech industry. It can be in an existing legacy industry. How do you do it? Well, social media. Let's jump into social media, meet people, make friends, make connections, and all of a sudden I'm going to have tons of clients, right? No. You've tried it. It doesn't work. You start a Twitter and you might have 3 followers and out of them 2 are spammers, right? But now again, let's jump back to how the successful guys did it. How did the successful guys do it? And see if you can extract the mechanism, the mechanics with which they succeeded. So the #1 architectural firm in your industry, or the #1 whatever in your industry, when they jumped into social media, all of a sudden they got more clients because what? They were able to connect with people who they had never connected before in other places except email, for instance. And they were able to do that. Why? Because they've had 10, 20, 30 years of relationships, building contacts. So they started with a Rolodex. And after 10, 20 years of building their Rolodex contact black book, when Microsoft first started pushing out Hotmail and AOL started pushing AOL Mail, remember that? You've got mail. They were able to migrate all their relationships in that Rolodex into email, maintain relationships, and then now, when they jumped into Twitter, when they jumped into Facebook or Google+, 10,000, 20,000 followers instantly. That's how they were able to migrate and become more successful using social media. But what's your experience? It doesn't look like that, does it? No. All you need is their book of contacts. Now this is where it gets interesting. And here is where I'm going to ask you for a thumbs up. I think the thumbs up is here or down here somewhere. Because I'm going to explain to you how to get all of the contacts of all of the people who are in the top of every industry. I don't care if you're a rheumatoid arthritis surgeon specialist. I don't know if rheumatoid doctors do surgery, but you know what I'm saying. I don't care if you're a photographer, a musician, I don't care who you are. I'm going to tell you how to get all the contacts of everybody that's at the top of whatever industry you're in. This is how you do it. You sneak into their offices, you jump on their inbox, and you export their contact book, and then you email it to yourself. That's the illegal way of doing it. But just for grins and giggles, let's just say you did that, okay? Let's walk down this path and see what results you'll get before you get before you end up in jail. The first thing that'll happen, you import it into your contacts. And then when you set up a new LinkedIn account, you'll end up with 3, 4, 5,000 connections of all the top CEOs, senators, top people, scientists, journalists, PR people, people at the Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Why? Because the top people in every industry have contacts at the top of every other industry. And they will all be your LinkedIn friends. Let's say you started a Twitter account. You'll end up with 3, 4, 5, 6,000 followers who are, again, senators, governors, lawmakers, industry leaders, CEOs, every single person who has been in contact with the #1 firm or company in your industry will now be your friend. You see how valuable this list of email addresses is? Now, if you only had this list right now and you didn't have to spend 20 years building it, you see how that could help the success of your company? Just go to cnet.com. This is where you can download all sorts of programs and apps and utilities. And do a search for email extractor. That's it, just email extractor. You'll find several different programs. I use one called Free Email Extractor. Just download that. Download it, and let's take, for instance, architecture. Let's say you're an architect and you want to build a really fast network of people that, well, hire architects, right? Install the program. I didn't write it. I'm not getting any money to promote this, blah, blah, blah. Install the program, then do a simple search for the word architecture, architect. And then do a search for general contractor. Do a search for interior designer. Do a search for paint contractor. Do a search for construction. Do a search for land surveying. I don't know. Anything that's related to your industry, any professional field or any professional title, any keyword that's related to your industry. If you're an accountant, you might want to do a search for CFO, taxes. I don't know. You know better than I do, right? Do a search for these things and say extract email. What it'll do, it'll go through Google, 200-300 pages of Google, and look at all the pages that are listed in Google and actually just surf around the web and spider through the web and pick out anything with an @ sign, which means it's probably going to be an email address. Then it'll spit back at you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10,000 email addresses, some of which are going to be, well, a lot of which are going to be invalid, not in use anymore. That's okay. Extract them all, put them all in a Google Docs spreadsheet. Then reformat that spreadsheet into a comma-separated value or any form that can be instantly uploaded into your Gmail contact book. And that's it. Oh, start with a new Gmail address. Start with a new Gmail address, upload 10, 20,000 email addresses, and then join LinkedIn, and then join Twitter, and then join Google+, and then join Pinterest, and then join Facebook. And you know what will end up happening? LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all these sites will automatically alert the 4,000 or 5,000 people that you've added, that you just randomly found on the web, right? They'll send them all an email and say, hi, someone you know has just joined Twitter. Do you want to follow them? And you'll get an extremely high follow back rate. Now wait, if this information did you a favor and you enjoyed it, do me a favor please and click the share button. If you click the share button, you'd help me out, and that really helps me produce more of these videos. So that's it. Good luck with your building, and if you need help building your company, marketing your products and services, contact us at creativeguerrilla.co/contact.